right, guys, so we have roughed everything out stream and waterfall wise with the machine, and now we're just cleaning everything up by hand, getting our nice clean edges, leveling off the shelves where there'll be pooling areas, all that stuff. Down here we still have to dig in the reservoir, but we're gonna wait till we move these piles. They're unloading the mini loader right now, so we'll get these cleaned up. I'll get the machine down here and we'll dig our basin. We're just gonna keep cleaning these shelves up.
All right, guys, right now we're carving out the shelves, making sure we got a good 90-degree angle on every shelf, making sure that we have ample space to place our rocks where we want them.
Broke ground in icy Fiskdale, Massachusetts today, guys. As you can see, we have our waterfall all carved out behind me here. And what I'm doing, messing with this yellow contraption and this big measuring stick, is I am finding our edge height based off of our hard point, which is the patio the camera woman is standing on right now. And what we do with that is we find our edge using that hard point. So we want the 4 inches above water to match the height of this patio here. And I'm finding the bottom of our aqua blocks for our basin, which is being carved out by Mason and Sean right now. So there's a little bit of math that goes into building a waterfall. And I am taking the 18 inches that a large aqua block is tall, matching that with the 4 inches of edge height that we like to use. So I sunk this 22 inches down from our hard point edge, which is right there. And so the bottom of this stick will match the bottom of where our aqua block should be. That'll get us all set up to build this basin.
All right, guys, so the rock just got delivered. We have just over 20 tons of big, beautiful fieldstone boulders that Dominic and I hand-picked. We went through the stone yard and found all the right rocks that we needed for this project to be amazing. So while they're down there getting everything squared away, I'm up here enjoying being the king of the mountain with the rock pile. All right, so we've got the hole for the reservoir completely excavated, all compacted, smoothed out, exactly the right level we need. We got the pit for our pump vault dug out. The guys are measuring and cutting the protective geotextile fabric and the liner. We're gonna put down a layer of fabric, put down our liner, put down another layer of fabric, and then we're gonna put all these blocks in place, including the pump vault, fold it up like a burrito and backfill, so we lock it all in nice and tight and level and beautiful. Good morning, everybody. We're out here getting all the shelves prepared because we're gonna put down our protective underliner and our liner and get rocking. You can see behind you, I have just started separating all of our boulders, getting them ready because we're gonna use all of our different rock straps like this right here. And we're gonna start slinging these boulders and set them in place and building these beautiful waterfalls. We're putting in our second piece of liner. You can see underneath that liner is our protective rock pad. It's a geotextile. We use a very thick fabric to protect the liner from any roots or rocks or anything pokey in the soil. It's a nice protective cushion, and you can see we're using multiple pieces of liner for this. An ideal situation is to use one single piece of liner so you don't have to worry about seams or overlaps. But when you have a large scale project like this, where especially where we're twisting and turning through the hillside, you'd have to have a very big liner to get it done with one single piece, and there'd be a lot of waste. So instead of doing that, we're using multiple pieces with overlaps. All right, so you guys can see we've got a bunch of rock set already. We're continuing to work our way upstream, if you will. We've got a lot of our main frame rocks in place, some spill stones, some of these big huge boys, and it's going really well. I'm loving the design, how it's all coming together. Right now I'm preparing We're gonna use some of our waterfall foam. It's an expanding foam that's fish safe. It's similar to the expanding foam you see used in home construction, but it doesn't expand as much, and it is the color black, so it's easy to disguise. But what that's gonna do, it's gonna fill up some of these gaps on the backside of our waterfall rocks. And as it expands and dries, it's not waterproof. It creates a new path of least resistance. So instead of the water wanting to just quickly disappear behind the rocks and maybe not even come over the top at all, we're gonna block that area up so it's easier for the water to flow over the top of the stones that we want it to and get the majority of the water in motion going over our waterfall stones. So I'm getting this area prepped to do that. We're gonna get this section all foamed up so it can dry overnight. With the temperatures dropping, the foam behaves a little differently than it does in the summertime. It takes a little bit longer to dry. If you don't do it in the right temperature, it can be a little brittle as it dries. It is day 3, the morning of day 3 on this beautiful Pondless Waterfall project in Fiskdale, Massachusetts. My guys are maniacs in the back. You can hear them being crazy. I don't know what they're doing, but they're super excited about putting down that underlayment on top of our liner for the top pool. We got our machines warming up. Machines. That's a new word I just invented, in case you're curious. The machines are going. We started setting boulders to the upper retaining wall over there where Sean is walking. Right now, we're gonna start strapping rocks, sending them all over the place and making magic happen. So today's gonna be a very productive day.
So right now I am picking out rocks for our retaining wall on the left side of the pond. If you're looking at it from the bottom, we're building a nice big wing wall so that those level changes of the waterfall drops don't look like they're out of nowhere. You know, in nature, when you find a waterfall, the rocks span out much wider than the actual water flow, and so that's kind of what we're trying to replicate here. So I went down there and I measured kind of what I need to hold back that hillside and what's gonna marry up with that other rock that we already have in there nicely. And this is the one that I've picked. It's pretty close to the right diameters, and if it's not just right, there's always work that we can do on the back end. You know, we can build around it with some smaller rocks, scale back with some cobbles, gravel, stuff like that. So I am putting in a bulkhead fitting through our liner and into our basin vault here. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna allow to make the connection from our pump through our check valve, through the bulkhead, through the vault, the liner, and into our plumbing, which is gonna run up this big hill behind me and connect to our spillways, back down the waterfall, into the basin, so on and so forth. This is kind of the first step to making a perfect cycle of a waterfall. And how you do this is you make sure that the liner is perfectly clean, you line it up, you wipe it down, you wait till it's dry, and then you use this here, Aquascape primer. And what this does is this binds the liner to your cover tape, and you put that over there and you make your hole for your fitting to slide into. And when you tighten that bulkhead fitting nice and tight, you want to make sure that that plastic O-ring doesn't damage anything that has previously been installed, like your liner or your vault or anything like that. So the cover tape and the primer are kind of just like cheap insurance to make sure that nothing goes wrong and there's no leaks in the system. We're putting this 100-foot roll of 3-inch pipe into our truck so we can blast the heat and warm it up, because water got in here somehow and it's frozen solid, so that's not something we can work with. Hey guys, I just put together this check valve. You need approximately a 7-inch piece of flex PVC pipe. And what that does is that brings your check valve up to the proper height if you're using a vault extension with one of our vault boots here, which we did because we're using large aqua box, so we needed a vault extension. And this will get us up to that top level bulkhead that sits inside of that vault extension. Just like any other check valve, it only allows things to
to flow one way. So if for some reason there were to be a power outage, or if your pump were to stop for whatever reason, this check valve is going to stop your water feature from flooding your yard and anything that might be around the water feature, landscaping, a patio, etc. If the pump were to turn off, the line were to be pressurized, this check valve would not let the water flow back down into the basin and flood everything.
All right, guys, now it's the waiting game. We have some waterfall foam that we're waiting on to dry and cure, and then we could turn this on and see how it looks. We still have the reservoir to finish rocking and graveling and camouflage, and of course all the edge treatments have to be done. The next step, as soon as this foam is dry, we can turn this on, see how it looks, and then we're going to focus on everything from the reservoir up to the top, hiding all that liner. One of my favorite parts of any water feature is the illumination. The underwater LED lights that we incorporate, they turn a normal water feature into something absolutely magical. They're magical to begin with, right? But at night, they really come to life. The light illuminates strategic spots all over the water feature. We could accent a really cool rock or a stump, but most of the time, we're lighting up the waterfalls. So this feature right here has 6 lights. We've got each waterfall drop lit up. For example, right here, we've got a 3-watt LED spotlight that's going to be tucked away and hidden right here. That's going to light up this entire lower falls. Some of the light is going to hit the accent boulders on the side, but most of it's just going to illuminate the water as it crashes down that waterfall. And we did that all the way up for each drop. Most people like me work all day, don't get to enjoy the water feature during the daylight hours that much. Most of the time spent with your water feature is in the evening after work, but the light really transforms the space. The water, it looks so beautiful. It's crashing down. We put the lights in certain ways so it'll help reflect the light up into the surrounding landscape and twinkle against the trees and the vegetation on the outside of the water feature. It's absolutely stunning. And I am super excited to come back and see this one at night.
Okay, we are hiding this spillway here. We're blending this log with our surrounding dirt, so hopefully grass will grow here in the future. But the point of what we're doing here, besides hiding our spillway, which is directly under me right now, is hiding our liner. We like a nice clean edge, and we like it slightly below the surface of our rocks, and we cover it up with dirt.
Earlier, we trimmed our liner and fabric to around 6 inches outside the edge height of the pond to make sure we had enough room to edge the pond and keep all the water from leaking out. Right now we're going around with dirt, gravel, and a little bit of moss to beautify the edge and hide the edge of this pond so it looks like it was here from the beginning.
Quick little update, guys. We've got the water flowing. We've got this last little section to finish. We're making great progress. I just wanted to share it off Share it off.
Share it off. It does.
That's not a thing. I just wanted to share it with you guys real quick. Next time you see it, it'll be completely done and awesome.
So it's day 6, guys, and we're closing in on the end of this water feature. We have a few little spots left to finish edging and tidying up around the basin area. And right behind me up there, where we just installed that beautiful log. Once a water feature is done, you start to fall in love with the thing because you put everything that you have into it, and to finally see that water coming down over all those different drops. Every water feature is different, but when you put so much into something, to see it come to fruition and be as beautiful or more beautiful than you ever thought it could be, it's really something special. There's so many different intricacies in this build here. One of my favorite points of this pond is this bottom drop right next to me here that flows into the basin. We have a big old log right below that bottom drop that's just roaring onto the thing. And we get a nice little pooling section with some of that river jack. It's kind of a rumbling sound effect that you get from that. And then the water flows over the log on the left side and right under on the right side. I think that's absolutely beautiful. And that's why I love incorporating wood into our builds like this.
All right, guys, here it is. This is a 32-foot Pondless waterfall, and it's epic. We've got massive boulders. We hand selected each one of these stones, twists and turns, switchback waterfalls. We have boulder waterfalls, sheet waterfalls, supernatural looking waterfalls, everything you could want for a backyard waterfall right here, and it's awesome. I hope you guys love it. This is a labor of love for us. Definitely a passion. All the guys on the team absolutely love this stuff, and I hope it shows through. I hope you guys love this whole process. Let us know in the comments down below what you think, and like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.